Hi there everyone, welcome back to my garden. My name's Diane and I garden here in the northeast of England, and today I've got a few jobs on today. One of them is to try and sort of sort out this border. So grab a cup of tea, settle down, and we'll have a look around the border first. So it's a gorgeous day today. It's 8 degrees, it's a bit chilly, but it's such a relief that it's not raining because I'm not exaggerating. I don't think we've had a dry day for about 2.5 weeks. So we've had a major storm, and the peonies, which I would normally leave in situ until early next spring, I think the food will have left the leaves and gone down back into the bulbs. But I think I'm going to cut that back now. I have dug out a huge New Zealand satinflower and a rose from this situation, which when this lucifer grows in the spring, the rose was getting completely covered by the peony and the lucifer. Down there was a huge patch of Cosmea lucifer. You can just see the odd straggly one there. So we put that at the gate, and some lovely person came along and took that for their garden. We've got some Monarda heads there. We've got some Japanese anemone heads. And then the funny thing is that all the little geraniums that I bought are flowering again. So that's lovely just to see some nice colour in the garden and over here. So if you haven't seen my channel before, I have got a video out where I sort of prepared this border here for the winter. But this border here today, I'm going to cut the peony back, get the leaves out, see what's left, leave as many seed heads on as I possibly can, and then I have some Veronicastum in the back garden which I want to transplant here. So that's what I'm going to do now. Okay, and I think it's very easy to be overwhelmed by a border and what to do with it when it's in such a state. So my secret is that don't think ahead too much, just concentrate on the job at hand, the area at hand, and do very small areas well and thoroughly. That's better than jumping from one job to the next, and then a few hours later you look at it and you think, oh, I didn't get that done, and that's no good. Right. Okay. That's that. The brown leaf can come out. Yes, there was a beautiful rose here, and every year I can't tell you how long, every time it flowers you see it briefly and I think, I meant to move that, and then it gets swamped by everything else. This is some pink phlox, which I have got some place in mind for that. I'm going to move that as well. And I'm going to dig the rest of this Crocosmia out. Right, I'll go and get my spade. Now I have got a delphinium in the back here. Be careful not to disturb him. Right. every plant that I dig out, I put at the gate with a sign saying what it is and just please help yourself, because I hate throwing healthy plants away. So they are the combs off the Crocosmia lucifer. Right, loads of geum in here. I love geum. Let's see what we've got now. I'll take him out. Got to be so careful at this time of year. Normally I wouldn't recommend getting in your borders when the soil's wet like this, because you're damaging it. But if you have a look at my playlist, you'll know that I'm creating a white garden in the back garden, and there are lots of plants that need dividing, so I want them out. Right, now here is a clump of, I think it's Jerusalem sage. I didn't know what it was, and one of my viewers, Tracy, said, I've got that in my garden, it's Jerusalem sage, and I know that that loves the sun, so it's not going to get any sun under this New Zealand satin flower. So I'm going to move him. So thank you very much, Tracy. So that is Jerusalem sage. So he needs to be at the front. Get him out from under the shadow of this huge spiky guy here. Right, again, I know that this plant here, don't know its name. I bought this at Newby Hall a couple of years ago, and he likes the sun. It's a bit like a nepeta, but he is swamped as well. This border just really got taken over by huge leggy plants. Oh, and there's an achillea here. I love achilleas. So what am I going to do with him? Because I don't want to cut all the green off, because then I'm left with this dead stump here. Well, dead looking stump, which, you know, in 2 months' time, if I'm pottering out here, might I chop him back or dig him out, not knowing what he is. So I'm going to leave that, but obviously in the spring I'll cut him right back to some buds. Right, I'll show you what I'm going to put here. This is where the Crocosmia lucifer was. Right, so here we are in the back garden, and this is, it should have been, I bought the seeds, it should have been Veronicastum alba. When it's flowered, it's the most beautiful flower, but it's distinct pink. So I'm going to dig him out. I'm going to show you a close-up here. So when you're looking at plants like this, try and sort of see what the leaf looks like there, and then look down at the base of the plant where you're going to dig it out. So these were transplanted months ago in the summer. So this here is definitely not that plant. I think that's some kind of geranium, but I think these ones are. So these leaves here, I think, are new leaves that have started to come up, and they belong to this Veronicastum. And you see they're there as well, because when I'm familiar with the plants in my garden, and I've never had those leaves around here, so it makes sense that they are all lovely healthy leaves belonging to this plant. So I'm going to dig the root ball up. You see that right down here? I'm going to dig the root ball up all the way around here. that is part of a pulmonary. So I'm not bothered if a bit of him comes as well. And he's obviously liked where I've put him in the summer. He was in the back border over there, and originally the greenhouse was going to go there, but then I changed my mind. So now I'm creating a white garden. So yes, you can now see that all belongs together. So I'm just looking for more bits of root with that leaf on. That. Awesome. And it's so worth doing this, because if you went to the garden centre to buy one of these plants, you'd probably be paying between £10 and £15 for a real, maybe like a 2-litre pot. Whereas here he is just dying for a new home. Right, I have to come over this side. He's really spread. That's quite good. This doesn't spread too much. I do love the flower on him. It's beautiful. And the soil in this part of the garden is just so crumbly and sandy. It's that's obviously how he's got established such a good root ball. Right. So this is the entire clump that I've dug out. And I'm going to put the entire clump over there, so I've got a really well established clump of it. If it wasn't so cold and it wasn't so wet, I would be fussing around and splitting it all over the garden, but actually I can feel the rain starting already, so I just want this in. I have a to-do list that I keep beside my bed, and it's 2 pages long at the moment, so I love it on a night time if I can, before I go to sleep, just tick 1 or 2 things off, and I put everything on it, no matter how big or small a job. So one of them was like paint the greenhouse. Well, I mean, that's months. But this one is on in what? Take about 20 minutes. Right, so I'm just going to put the whole clump in together, like that. It's a bit deep. That's better. And then just put these leaves around the bottom, like that. I like plants where they've got a very distinct white root, because if you decide, no, I don't like you, you're a bit of a thug, they're much easier to find the root and dig it all out. Right, and then just fill that all in. So I'm going to cut these big stems off now, because if you leave newly moved plants with big stems on, particularly in a windy garden like mine, these stems would get blown about in the wind, and it would rock the roots. So I'm leaving him where he is. Might take some tip cuttings off him actually. There's a nice achillea there. But what I did notice about this border in the late summer, early autumn, was that it had sort of no yellows or oranges. So I'm going to go back around now to the back garden, and I'm going to dig out a clump of that black-eyed Susan, the Rebecca, and I'm thinking I might put that. You see, this plant here I recognise, that's Linaria, and I've got loads of that in my garden. So I could dig him out and put a big clump of Rebecca here, and then I'll have yellow, because this phlox is going to come out. Right, so again, normally I would leave these seed heads on for the finches all through the winter and then cut them back late spring. But everything that isn't white is coming out. So I'm just going to take a nice big clump of this. Right, so you didn't see me dig that out there because my camera, my phone died, and obviously I didn't realise. So this is the lovely clump of Rebecca, and that's probably about a third of what was there. Lovely big root ball, and I'm going to plant that in, I think here. Bring you over. And again, if you had to buy this clump of Rebecca at a garden centre, it would cost a fortune. So it's good that it's still got its leaves, its flower heads on, because it can give me a sense of whereabouts in the border I want to position it and how tall it's going to grow. So if you can imagine, I've got a really tall delphinium at the back. The Veronicastum grows about, I don't know, 4 foot. The Jerusalem sage, I'm still in two minds whether to put that here or not. But this this peony, he is well behaved, this peony. I was going to say the peony's going to flop over maybe to the side, but if I put a cage round him, he won't. I'll keep the crocosmia under control. So yeah, I think that Rebecca will go there, and that'll be awesome. There we go. So we're going to put him there. I love splitting plants from my garden, or anybody's garden for that matter. You can take a piece. Because I mean, I love buying plants in tubs as well, but if you split a plant that you know you love it already, you know what conditions it likes and how tall it grows and everything, then it takes away that anxiety of, oh, should I spend £15 on this tub of, particularly if you buy them in the autumn, they're just basically a tub of brown earth, aren't they, with a few twigs in, and you have to think, oh, I hope they survive. But on the other hand, you do get some great bargains as well this time of year. Right. Put the roots in there like that. I seem to have, oh, you see I've chopped a bulb in half there. I hate it when that happens. Right, backfill. And what I'm going to do when he's in is I'm going to do what I did with that Veronicastum, and I'm going to chop these big tall stems with the seed heads off so that the roots aren't more stressed than they already are by being moved. They're not getting rocked around in the wind. Just gently press him down. Take these stems away. don't even know what that is, but it's not a piece of him. I'll take him out. It wasn't a piece of Rebecca. There. That's awesome. I'm having such a lovely day. It's lovely to be out in the garden, even if it is quite cold and muddy. Right. Okay, so I have to make a decision about the Jerusalem sage. Right, I've made the decision. So the Jerusalem sage is going to grow quite tall and loves the sun. And this phlox is going to come out. I'm going to dig the phlox out and put the Jerusalem sage here. Right. You know, everything's just coming out quite easy. Nice big root ball there. And I think the Jerusalem sage will get plenty sun here because this Rebecca is quite sort of late summer flowering, so the leaves stay quite low and then the flowers grow up later. Right. Put him in there. I've waited years for this Jerusalem sage to grow. I planted the seeds. Oh, honestly, I think it was 2019. Anyway, I didn't think it had taken anywhere, and then this year all these patches of leaves have come up and I just didn't know what they were. And then like I say, Tracy said, oh, I think that's Jerusalem sage, and then it jogged my memory and I thought, oh my gosh, yes, it's what I grew from seed. Right. Okay. So I'm going to tidy up a little bit of the front here, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to plug every gap with Foxgloves that I've grown from seed. Right, so this is a tray of lovely Foxgloves that I've grown from seed. I planted them out all in garden soil, that's why they've got a few weeds in, but you just pick them out. So I want these, I don't know what colour they are because I lost the label, but I know that they're either Foxglove Alba, which is tall, or Foxglove Excelsior, which is huge. And that's what I want. I want some nice height there. Right. So I'm really quite concerned about my delphiniums because I'm worried that I've dug them out when I was digging the crocosmia out. Anyway, there's nothing I can do about it. So you would think I would have noticed and recognized a delphinium, wouldn't you? Right, so these can go there. And in here, and they will, I don't know why that keeps falling off my belt today. It doesn't normally do that. You know what? I think I'm going to put another achillea in here because I bought some in the sale the other day. I'll go and get them and show you. So I got 3 of these the other day. So, I mean, they were cheap enough to start with, $6.99. And I got them for £1.99. And that's as tall as the feathery foliage grows on achillea. But then the flowers are much taller. but that's as tall as the flower will go. So it is sort of mid-border. And this one is called Cerise Queen. Right, and then I can cut off these seed heads. That's it. Oh, he looks lovely. I love everything about Achilles. I love the feathery foliage. Right. Be so happy tonight knowing that I've got these in. Right, where's my trowel? Because I don't need a big fork now. Oh, that's that little Jim. Put him in a flower pot so I don't tread on him. And the foxgloves will just find their way up through other plants. They leave the rosette of leaves at the bottom, and then they get a nice tall, thin stem full of flowers. Put him in there. He was a bit traumatized, this one, because I knocked him out the pot the other day. And any new gardeners watching, you might think, oh my gosh, well, that still looks a right mess, that border, but believe me, it won't next year. It'll look lovely. What you're wanting to do now is get as many of your plants split and in, or the ones that you've bought at garden centres, and just get them into the soil, because the soil stays warm for months, even right through the winter. It's next sort of very early spring, March, April, when the ground is at its coldest, because it's taken that long to cool down. So actually it might be freezing outside this time of year, but your soil's still comparatively warm. At least the plants think so. Right. And believe it or not, I'm going to water everything in. Once everything's in place, I'm going to water everything in, because that, once the water goes down, it sort of shifts the soil around the new roots that have been at the edge of the pot. And you see these roots here? So it just sort of makes the soil in your pot and the soil in the ground one. Right. A few more little foxgloves in there, I think. Right, so I've got some nice narcissus, some daffs here. These ones open yellow and then change to almost white. So they're sprouting already, these ones. Put them out. Oh, they're lovely. So I'll plant some here. These are lovely big bulbs. It'll just give a bit of very early interest and colour to the border before the plants start growing. That's it. And what have I got left? I've got 2 left. Right, I think I'll put them in here. So there we go. I'm very pleased with what I've got done today. I think it's time to go in now and have a nice hot cup of tea. You'll see that I'll take the camera off. So there we go, full of foxgloves and some lovely perennials. And then this half of the border needs a tidy up, but that's for another day. And then that will look like that, and then that border's all ready. So as you can see, I've got the rest of the border done 2 days later. Hi Monty. So I cut back the phlox because there was a lot of weed and crocosmia left behind it. I've left this, which is Verbena bonariensis, because if you cut that right, well, if I cut that back, I always forget where it is, so I'm going to leave that to remind me. I've left 1 patch of Shasta daisy there. Little ladybird curled up in there. And then I dug out of this patch here a big weedy patch of Montbretia, which had a mint growing through it and all kinds of things, which were actually drowning out these lovely geraniums at the front here. This is a lovely big patch of Alstroemeria, another geranium there. Can't even, oh, in this patch here there was a penstemon which was very straggly, so I've dug him out and I've put this patch of Sweet William. So I grew these from seed and they're extra tall with straight stems. I ordered them from Sarah Raven and they flowered last year. They were beautiful. This is one of the daylilies, the Hemeracalis, that I got in the sale because it had lost its name tag. This one here looks a bit straggly, but he is Monarda. And then what I've done is, once everything was in its right position, I've just gone in and I've put lots of foxgloves in, and then I gave everything a good soak. So I hope you've enjoyed the video. Thank you so much for watching. Take care and I hope you have a lovely weekend. Bye.